All right, guys, so here we are a day removed. Strickland, Du Plessis, what happened? And to appreciate this match, because this has an opportunity to be a very pivotal moment. We thought that we had 185 pounds all figured out, just by example. We had 5 stars. We had a whole bunch of really good fighters. We had 5 stars that were log jamming this thing, right? I'm bringing the Terminator in on that. Khamzat Chimaev, as soon as he officially made that his weight class, you've just got the guy that lapped the division, the greatest ever in Adesanya. And you have the guy that's the next best thing and just happened to be the same time frame in Robert Whittaker. So it's just one of these situations where how are we going to work the Bo Nichols of the world in? How are we going to work the Kamaru Usman, should he choose to come up? How are we going to work some of this new blood in? What are we going to do with Brendan? Just by example. So all of a sudden you get this guy speaking up named Du Plessis. Says he's the real deal. And this whole sport has always started, right? Everything's got a starting point, right? You got chicken and egg, you got cart and horse, and everything in life. But this sport has always been predicated, the genesis of everything, on a guy's word. There has never been a time where somebody has claimed to be a black belt in this sport and we went and verified it. There's never been a time where a guy claimed that he had won such and such event or he had such and such record. And that we then set out and verified it. We started with his word. So we go find some tough guys to go, who can go with these guys? These guys look like they're the best. And you get another group of tough guys that step up and say, hey, not so fast. I don't know where you've been looking, but I got a whole crew over here. Okay, great. Let's get them together and fight, right? I mean, but this is how it started. It's important that you understand this. Because it was the golden rule that got Du Plessis to where he's at. The golden rule of raise your hand and we will take you at your word. Until we find out your word is no good, until we find out that your opinion and or your skills can't all come together, we are going to start with whatever it is you say. And Du Plessis, who was an undercard fighter and who was not in the top 10, who was never in a discussion to be a star, to be a draw, to be a press conference hit, to be somebody sponsors wanted to get behind, to be a guy that was going to get 7-figure checks, be one of the very few guys to be put in a position where when he retires from the sport, he can choose moving forward what he does with his time. Nobody had Du Plessis there, except for Du Plessis. I mean, here we are staring at Dricus Du Plessis, guys. His coaches, who deserve a ton of credit. I mean, these guys are really awesome, but I don't know them. I know everybody in this sport. I don't know them. I couldn't tell you their name. Whatever gym Du Plessis at, there's not very many gyms on earth that do MMA. There's only a small handful. And then where you have a pro fighter signed to a major organization, I mean, you're talking about a couple of dozen worldwide. I don't know what gym he trains out of. I don't know who his sparring partners are. I mean, I just don't know some of these things that would be real commonalities to have a top guy. I don't know where he got the confidence. I don't know where he got the skills, quite frankly. I'm just here to let you know that our golden rule, once again, has proven to work. Taking a guy at his word, listening to him say, I can beat these guys, I am better. I can draw more, I can drum up more interest, I can push the pace, I can land more, I can handle more punishment. I mean, the golden rule has held up yet again. And where you go with Du Plessis from here seems to be very obvious, which is to Adesanya. But that's obvious to us. What does Izzy want to do? And I know it sure looks like Izzy's starting to thaw out a little bit. That this, hey, don't talk to me. Hey, 2027 for my return, I'm going to return in the sport of boxing. I mean, it seems as though he's thawing out. But we also thought that he would be there live. I do predict for you that Izzy's going to fight Du Plessis. Very confident in that. I predict for you they're going to fight at 300, or at least the organization's going to go for that. But Izzy's always done a great job of telling us what next. Always does a great job of telling us what he's going to do. One of the reasons Izzy has remained a man of the people is because he does such a good job with communicating with the audience. And Izzy's, in his latest interview, said he's not going to return to the gym until the beginning of March. Which means there's no way he would be ready for championship rounds by April. And I don't have anyone that's disputed that. Like, I didn't hear from Dan Hooker that says, oh, you know, he's being humble. He's been in the gym every day. Like, I'm not hearing those things. So I don't know how likely 300 is. And I also got to take a little bit of a victory lap. Conor McGregor came out with a pre-edited piece that he dropped on New Year's Day and said he was going to fight Michael Chandler on June 29th at T-Mobile Arena. And I got asked about it. I got asked about it on SportsCenter. And I got brought in to report and break this news. I said, guys, I'm not going to do any of those things. I'm not comfortable with it. My source is Conor McGregor. That's not a reliable source. 4 days prior to Conor telling us he was going to fight Michael Chandler on June 29th, T-Mobile Arena, 4 days prior to that, he told us he was going to box Manny Pacquiao in the Middle East. I'm not comfortable. As a matter of fact, if you want to know what I think's going on, I think Conor's having a hard time getting this fight. And I think Conor has now gone to the public, stated a date that he knows is available, got Chandler to back him up, and they're doing this to work into this bout agreement backwards, which is fascinating. I love when guys do that. There's a number of very successful stories that you guys don't know where guys have done that very thing. But it'd be fascinating if Conor, the sport's biggest draw, had to do that. And Dana did let us know last night. He said, these guys are not fighting on June 29th. Now, before I went on SportsCenter and made that big claim that got a lot of people to raise their eyebrows, I called T-Mobile Arena. T-Mobile Arena says we have it reserved for the UFC, but they have not booked it yet. And I've thrown concerts, I've thrown shows. I understand what some of that language means. So I'm just here to let you know that the number one channel that keeps bringing you the most accurate information way ahead of time remains this channel. You guys keep doing your part. You keep tuning in. I'm going to keep telling you what's going on in the business way before anybody else knows. We're going to keep moving along together. We got a new champion in town. Dricus Du Plessis turns out is a hell of a lot better than we knew he was.